Welcome, this is Cheating Tales Insight. Tell me where you're watching from. Have you ever had that moment where you thought you knew someone completely, only to discover they were living a double life right under your nose? Sometimes the people we trust most are the ones hiding the darkest secrets. What's the biggest betrayal you've ever experienced from someone you loved? Tell me in the comments below. Call me broken. Because that's exactly what I was before. I learned that sometimes being shattered is the only way to see the truth clearly. My name is Matthias, and until 4 months ago, I believed I was living a blessed life. I owned a successful investment advisory firm with my childhood friend Darius, had been married to my wife Serafina for 7 years, and we lived in a beautiful home that represented everything we'd dreamed of building together. Darius and I had grown up on the same street, went to the same schools, and started our business fresh out of college with nothing but ambition and a shared vision. We managed portfolios for high net worth clients, and our firm had grown to oversee nearly $50 million in assets. We were equals in everything, or so I thought. Serafina was the woman I'd fallen head over heels for during my MBA program. She was brilliant, working as a pharmaceutical sales representative, making excellent money, and had this way of making everyone around her feel special. When she suggested leaving her career to help grow our business and manage our personal investments, it seemed like the perfect partnership. The day that destroyed my illusions started with what should have been good news. I'd just closed our biggest client ever, a tech entrepreneur who wanted us to manage his $20 million exit portfolio. I was so excited to share the news with Serafina and Darius that I left the office early to surprise them. I pulled into our driveway around 3 p.m., practically bouncing with excitement. Serafina's car was there, which was unusual since she typically spent afternoons at her yoga classes and errands. As I approached our front door, I noticed another car I recognized, Darius's BMW. My first thought was confusion, not suspicion. Maybe they were planning some kind of surprise for me? But as I quietly opened the front door, I heard sounds coming from upstairs that made my blood freeze. I crept up the stairs, each step feeling like it might be my last. Our bedroom door was partially open, and what I saw through that gap obliterated my entire world. Serafina and Darius were together in our bed, and from their comfortable intimacy. This was clearly not their first encounter. But instead of charging in and confronting them, something cold and analytical took over my mind. Maybe it was my business training, maybe it was shock, but I pulled out my phone and started recording. I had a strange feeling that I was going to need evidence of what I was witnessing. What I heard in the next few minutes changed everything I thought I knew about betrayal. The Kaiman accounts are ready, Darius whispered between kisses. All we need is his signature on the new investment authorization forms. And he still has no idea about the fake client? Serafina asked. None. Matthias thinks he just landed the biggest deal of his career. He has no clue that our tech entrepreneur is actually my cousin using a fake identity and laundered money. Once he signs those forms tomorrow, we'll have legal authorization to move all $50 million offshore. My legs nearly gave out. The $20 million client I'd been so excited about was fake? And they were planning to steal all our clients' money? What about the death benefit from his life insurance? Serafina continued. That's the beautiful part. Once the money disappears and is implicated in the theft, his suicide will look completely believable. Desperate businessman who embezzled millions kills himself rather than face prison. The insurance company will pay out, and we'll have everything. I had to grip the doorframe to keep from collapsing. They weren't just planning to frame me for embezzlement. They were planning to murder me and make it look like suicide. You're sure the life insurance will pay out even if he's accused of crimes? She asked. My lawyer confirmed it. As long as it looks like suicide and there's no evidence of foul play, the policy pays out. $2 million plus whatever we get from the offshore accounts. We'll be set for life in a country with no extradition treaty. I backed away from the door, my entire body shaking. This wasn't just an affair or even simple theft. This was a complex conspiracy to destroy my life, steal millions of dollars from innocent clients, and ultimately murder me. I made it to my car and sat there for 30 minutes, trying to process what I'd heard. The scope of their betrayal was breathtaking. Serafina hadn't just been cheating on me. She'd been actively helping to plan my destruction. And Darius hadn't just been stealing money. He'd been orchestrating an elaborate scheme that would ruin dozens of families who trusted us with their life savings. Instead of going back inside, I drove straight to my attorney's office. Patricia Holbrook had handled our business contracts from the beginning and had always been someone I trusted completely. Patricia's face went white as she watched the recording on my phone. Matthias, this is far beyond simple adultery or embezzlement. They're planning multiple felonies, including conspiracy to commit murder. We need to involve the FBI immediately. But what about our clients? If this fake investor situation is real, people could lose everything. That's exactly why we need federal involvement. Financial crimes of this magnitude cross state lines and involve complex money laundering. This is way beyond local police jurisdiction. Over the next week, I worked with FBI financial crimes agents to understand the full scope of Darius and Serafina's conspiracy. What they uncovered was even worse than what I'd overheard. The fake client was real. Darius's cousin Jerome had been using stolen identities and laundered drug money to create the appearance of a legitimate tech fortune. The plan was to use this fake $20 million investment as justification for moving all our clients' funds to offshore accounts that only Darius controlled. But the personal betrayal went deeper than I could have imagined. Serafina and Darius had been having an affair for over 2 years, and she'd been feeding him inside information about our personal finances, our insurance policies, and even my daily routines. They'd been planning my murder for at least 6 months. The life insurance policy they mentioned was one Serafina had convinced me to increase just 8 months earlier, claiming we needed better coverage as our wealth grew. I'd trusted her completely and signed the paperwork without question. The FBI developed a plan to catch them in the act. I would proceed with the fake investment meeting, but federal agents would be monitoring everything. They'd let Darius and Jerome complete the money transfer, then arrest all 3 conspirators simultaneously. The hardest part was acting normal around both of them for another week. Every conversation with Serafina felt like poison. Every business discussion with Darius made my skin crawl. But I knew that patience and evidence would give me justice that emotion never could. The operation went down exactly as planned. I met with the fake client Jerome in our office, with Darius present and FBI agents monitoring from the building next door. The moment Darius initiated the transfer of our clients' funds to the offshore accounts, federal agents burst through our doors. The look of absolute shock and terror on Darius's face when he realized he'd been caught was almost worth years of friendship and trust. Jerome tried to run but was tackled in our parking lot. And when agents simultaneously arrested Serafina at our house, they found pack bags and plane tickets to Brazil hidden in our garage. The evidence was overwhelming. The recorded confession, the fake identity documents, the offshore accounts, the life insurance fraud, and even detailed plans for staging my suicide. Their lawyers advised immediate plea deals rather than facing trial. Darius got 15 years for conspiracy, embezzlement, money laundering, and conspiracy to commit murder. Jerome got 12 years for identity theft, money laundering, and fraud. Serafina got 10 years for conspiracy to commit murder, insurance fraud, and accessory to embezzlement. All our clients' money was recovered and returned. Our firm survived after I restructured it with new partners who underwent extensive background checks and psychological evaluations. I wasn't taking any more chances with trust. The most satisfying moment wasn't watching them get arrested. It was realizing that their elaborate plan failed, because they underestimated the very person they were trying to destroy. They saw me as trusting and naive, but those same qualities that made me vulnerable also made me methodical and careful when I finally understood the threat. 6 months later, I'm rebuilding my life with the help of a therapist and a very small circle of people who've proven their loyalty through actions, not just words. Trust isn't something I give easily anymore, but I've learned that's not necessarily a bad thing. If this story resonated with you, please subscribe and share your thoughts in the comments. Sometimes the people closest to us are capable of the deepest betrayal, but that doesn't mean justice is impossible.